Hello there, it is Sarah Fitzgibbon here from Hospitality Success School, helping you grow your ideal hospitality business. So I was at an industry event the other day and it was with one of the, probably the largest alcohol distributor and supplier within Australia. And I noticed a change in the way they were talking about sales and they're talking about their products. And it might seem like a small change. It was really only one word, but it really has a huge impact and is a huge reflection on, the society and the way sales and the way that they're positioning their product. So I wanted to talk about that with you guys. So let me tell you what the change was first. In the last probably 2 or 3 years, I've noticed that alcohol distributors of alcoholic drinks have been talking about moderation, and they've been talking about the decline in alcohol consumption within Western society, and particularly within Australia. That's where I'm based. But this time, as well as using the word moderation, their team has introduced the word abstinence. And this may seem like a small thing, but it means that they, within their teams and within their departments, and they're a huge business, don't forget, they're changing their messaging around alcohol consumption. And this is in response to, the decline in alcohol consumption amongst society in general. I guess this means that it's had such a huge impact on their business that now they're changing the messaging around that, and they're learning that they have to promote and market themselves differently, and they have to respond to their customers' needs differently. So what I want to talk about today is a few reasons behind that decline in alcohol consumption and what it means for hospitality businesses, and how you can not deal with it, but how you can change your business model to benefit from that. So let's get stuck into it. The alcohol consumption is really at its lowest rate that it's been in Australia since the early 1960s, which is huge, really. And a lot of that is surrounding the decrease in beer consumption. So beer sort of peaked in, the 1970s, and it's half now what it was then. Also, young people are drinking a lot less. And this, presents itself in a number of ways, which I'll talk about later. But there's a lot of, that's because of public education and, general healthier lifestyles and health and social concerns. So, there's been a big push in the last probably, 5 to 10 years from governments about talking about the dangers of binge drinking and behaviours surrounding that, and the long-term health problems that, drinking high amounts of alcohol can have. So it's having really positive effect. There's a lot less stuff in the healthcare system to do with that sort of thing. Also, there's a lot more emphasis on wellness and healthier lifestyles now, and people are wanting to pursue that, which is, again, a great thing. And especially with young people, there's more social concerns. So, social media, about your reputation and about, your behaviour when you drank too much, and you're intoxicated. So these are sort of the reasons behind this decrease in alcohol, but what does it mean for hospitality businesses? Well, hospitality businesses, and particularly bars and pubs, have traditionally, dealt in, and sold alcohol. That's been their main, driver. And so you might see that you're having, decrease in sales, decrease in revenue, and decrease in profits. So what I want to do today is give you, 4 sort of ways that you can work with this trend within your business to boost those sales and boost that revenue and those profits. So do let me know if you're having any of these problems. I'd love to know if you've tried these sort of solutions that I'm going to give you, and what problems that you've been noticing from this in terms of, your business suffering. Because there are ways to address it, and I'm going to give you 4 right now. So the first one is premiumization. So when we talk about premiumization, what do we mean? Well, we mean using higher end products. So I'm talking craft beers, I'm talking top shelf spirits, and I'm talking high end wines. Okay. So just because people are drinking less, it might mean they're drinking less amounts of alcohol. It might not mean they're drinking lower strength, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're wanting to spend less either. Experience is huge now. I'm going to be talking about that later. But so premiumization, so having options there for people that want to spend more on a less number of drinks. So we're talking here quality over quantity, right? The second one is lower alcohol alternatives. So, you know, people might be drinking less and it doesn't mean that they want to enjoy themselves less or that they want to socialize less. They might just want a lower alcohol alternative so that they can have, you know, some more drinks. So with this, we're talking, you know, light and mid-strength beer. Even you can look to half-shot cocktails. And you might have noticed there is actually a huge change now within beer, and a lot of places and pubs are finding actually that their mid-strength taps are their highest sellers now. So that's a huge, I guess, change that you might have noticed in your venue. So having a number, not just one, but, you know, a few low alcohol alternatives for people. I know there's also, you know, craft beers and ciders that can also do those sort of low and mid-strength options. But then we get to abstinence, right? And I guess from that, what I'm talking about that I heard at that industry event the other day, this should be on your radar. There are people that want no alcohol alternatives. And not everyone likes soft drink, okay? Especially if they're interested in sort of a healthier lifestyle. But it doesn't mean they don't want to socialize with friends. And that is what hospitality is in the business of doing. So make sure you have some no alcohol alternatives for people. So what do I mean when I'm talking about no alcohol alternatives? Well, there are no alcohol beers available. I know CUB had their biggest sales ever in July to coincide with Dry July of their new zero beer. There's also, you know, European beers that have 0% beers. And then another, I guess, thing is mocktails, which I've been talking about. But I guess I've noticed that some people shy away from that terminology. So I've started using craft sodas. And I like that terminology. I think it's quite cool. And what I mean by craft sodas is a soft drink alternative. So something that is for a more mature palate and that maybe looks cool. So we're talking things like you can use, there's a bunch of syrups that you can buy or you could make your own syrups or cordials effectively and, you know, top them up with soda water as opposed to lemonade. There's a lot of sort of soda cordials and syrups you can get with really interesting flavors now and, you know, that will really appeal to that more mature palate. So, you know, we're talking elderberry and fruit mixes and spice mixes. There's a lot of, you know, it doesn't just have to be raspberry and lime. There's a lot of different ones out there that are really cool. Also have a think about, if you're wanting to charge more for these, think about that premiumization aspect. So the way you're serving that drink. Mocktails look really cool in a fancy glass, you know, with umbrellas or whatever, but you can do the same thing with craft sodas to a lesser extent so that you can charge more than you do for soft drinks. So try putting them in a taller glass, putting a little bit of fresh fruit on top or, you know, some small garnish. And you should be able to charge, you know, between $6, $7, even $8 for those depending on, you know, where you are. So number 4, I want to talk about experience. So I guess society, there's some changes happening in society and where people, you know, have been really addicted to their phones. People are really seeking connection now and human to human and face-to-face connection. And this is where hospitality businesses are in such a fantastic position to exploit this. So I want you to think about that as, I guess, an aside or an addition to those 3 tips that I've given you. Think about, you know, the way that not only that you present your food and beverage offering to sort of elevate it and give it that premium aspect, which will allow you to charge more. It'll also contribute to people's experience so that they're more willing to leave reviews and they're more willing to come back. And as well as your offering, it does also include, you know, the venue. So thinking about how you can elevate your venue, whether not just how it looks, but consider other things, you know, your music, the ambience, your heating, your furniture, you know, all those sorts of things. So recapping, 4 ways that you can, you know, adjust your business to the decline in alcohol consumption these days. Number 1 is premiumization. Number 2 is low alcohol alternatives. Number 3 is no alcohol alternatives. And number 4 is focusing on the experience. So I'd love to know if you've tried out any of these in your business and how they've gone, or whether you're hoping to and you've learnt some new things today. So good luck with that. Here's to your success, and I'll see you later.